trip worker, that horse.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, you fall into what you fall into. You still got to run the races, so it gets the job done anyway. But dropping here, the other logical is I just thought that this horse was going to be a little bit too short of a price for me in here, even based off the last two. I don't know. I just felt like there was probably a pricier option in this spot. So we'll see what we get out of this horse. This horse could certainly win, especially based on the last two races.
Race number 2. So, Street View, the one who you have on top and I have second, we'll take a look at the last win, and I'll let you talk about her.
I know the race pace perspective came apart here, but this horse always traveled like a winner in this spot. I mean, always looked like a winner and put up the best dirt figure that this horse has put up as well career-wise. So goes first off the claim for Rob Atras. I know it's claiming off of Linda, but to me it's kind of parallel. Sometimes Rob does just as good of a job. So I think from the inside and Matty overboard today, this horse is going to be a little bit aggressive in here. It should set up a nice spot. If runs anything like runs the last race.
Well, you say aggressive. Why are you concerned with that? His horse is clearly not the speed. Magic 8 Ball and the Shoe Lady are the speeds.
No, I mean, just to get a trip right off of them. Just like the same trip pulled in the last race, and hopefully the pace comes
Well, would
back
it matter if Christopher Elliott was on? I mean, what rider wouldn't try to be sort of sitting third with this horse? Is it sort of natural if he's probably in the pocket sitting third?
Well, I'm not going to go there with some of the
Well, I
race.
don't.
But for me, just based off of the last race, and just it seems like this horse turned the corner on the drop down. So, and comes back basically for the same tag, just in the non-winners of 3 in this spot.
It was a bit against the track last time, which I absolutely give her credit for. I'm not thrilled with her coming out of the conditional claiming race. There aren't a lot of options in here.
No.
I mean, Magic 8 Ball to me is almost an impossible horse to use. I scratched it as my 4th choice with the scratches, but that horse has one good race, and it was completely dressed up by a gigantic bias. People that took a short price last time were insane. I thought the Shoe Lady might be a little bit interesting. Believe it or not, Linda Rice's numbers on trainer switches, they're not very good. This is not a private purchase, obviously. Barry Schwartz bred this horse. Excuse me, I didn't think she was impossible as a speed, but she's going to have to deal with Magic 8 Ball at some point. Yeah. And I just thought Roman Goddess was a perfectly logical horse in here as an alternative. She's dropping down after facing much better horses. She had no chance whatsoever in that last race against those horses. And I just think you look at her speed figures, and she's just a faster horse, and I'd rather take her in the Street View off one race at a shorter price. I like Roman Goddess, no.
Yeah, I have her second in here, and she plays. I just can't get over the fact, though, that she just doesn't win. And I know she's had her she's had her problems in some sorts in better fields, but she's just got to get over it because she's run figures that are good enough to win. She just doesn't get the job done.
No argument from me. Race number 3. Start the conversation with the 2 Stormy's Dreaming, who is the morning line favorite near and showing the last race. I don't particularly like this horse, though. Obviously, she could win.
Yeah, I have her second. I have him second, excuse me, in this spot. And I think this was a much better effort, better than we had seen in a while from this horse, because even the second, a couple of starts back, was kind of like picking up the pieces. At least last time out, this horse was involved, at least a little bit closer. And the favorite in here, Accidental Bid, was 1-4 in this spot, I think, and wired the field. So stretching back out here today, I'm not enamored by this horse, but I have the horse second. I guess this horse can win in here. I don't know what price David has this horse.
I thought the rail is 2-1. I thought the rail was not the place to be that day, and Accidental Bid ended up down on the inside for much of the running, and I think it makes Stormy Dreaming race look better, and Accidental Bid's race look worse. I guess he could win, but he certainly had his share of chances. What is the story with?
We have race
guys,
2
we're back on race 2. What are we doing here, guys? Okay.
There we go.
All right. Thank you. Let's take a look at Big Ego, who you've got on top, who ran second last time out, and I'll let you talk about him.
Back to 2 of his better races. I know not from a speed figure standpoint, but at least he's shown some interest in the last 2 starts and finished the race off last time out, almost getting there at the end. But it was also inside, so I'm going to kind of take the trip with a grain of salt. But when you compare it to the rest of the field and who this horse is facing in here, I don't know. There's no reason why this horse can't win in this spot. I mean, at least he's shown some interest back, because the few starts before that were not good.
He's just had so many
shots.
Chances. Yeah. It's sort of tiresome. And I agree. I thought he ran fine last time out. I don't have a big problem with his effort last time. And, you know, I've got him second, so I don't see anything. I'm just going to go for like a new face near. And I know it's a 3-year-old, and you've got a bunch of older horses in here with Easy Bourbon. I don't think Easy Bourbon has done a whole lot of running in his 2 starts. He was on a moderate pace in his debut against significantly better horses. But I do think he's been facing some better horses. I thought he was a little interesting on the drop down last time. I was obviously completely and totally wrong. But you know what? I want to give him one more chance to prove that he's just a complete bum and he can't compete with these horses. Because I'm just looking at so many horses. I mean, listen, Stormy Dreaming and Big Ego, they may run 1-2 in here in some order. It won't surprise me. It certainly won't surprise you. I don't find anything appealing about betting Big Ego in his 12th start. I agree, his form's been reasonably good. I'm not in any way suggesting he's not a logical pick in here. It looks like Fast Amendment. It just seems like he's just falling apart.
Yeah.
I know, look, at Linda horses will indiscriminately seem to run better than you expect sometimes, but what is it I'm supposed to like about him? And listen, maybe Easy Bourbon just sucks. But he hasn't completely proven it yet. And I think even though he's a younger horse facing olders for the first time, maybe that's an advantage because he's kind of running against better horses than these.
Yeah, for sure. The debut race is
His
100 times
good enough
better.
to give
Yeah,
him
it's good enough
a
to get a
chance
chance
in
in
here,
here.
I would think.
And
He was awful last time. I'm not going to defend. His last race was a joke.
Maybe he'll get into a rhythm going a mile and be a little bit better. I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to blow the doors off of anybody.
No, he's not a big speed, but he can be
But
forward.
he can be a little bumpy, yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm not. I'm just trying to get creative because the more I look to this race, it's just like, I don't want to pick Stormy Dreaming. I don't want to pick Big Ego. I just didn't like any of these horses, so I'll take a little bit of a shot with him in a field where it's not going to take 51 buyer probably gets it done in this race.
For sure.
Race number 4. We'll take a break after race number 4. Kicks off the late pick 5 as well. I thought this was an interesting race, and we'll start, though, by talking about the horse that I have second, you have on top, Bam's Bliss Kiss, who's just clearly the horse to beat.
Sure, and went with Rock early and kept up, and kept on going in that spot because Rock's pretty fast.
Unlike Rock.
What?
Unlike Rock.
Yeah, unlike Rock, yeah, who gives it up. So, and listen, and the winner of that race got a clean trip on the outside, and this horse did all of the battling, so I think coming back in this spot, being able to be forward and taking a look at some numbers for David Duggan, I had pulled a stat, 5 for 23 with excuse my handwriting, 235 or 255.
We're not looking at your handwriting, so we're excusing
Yeah, well, 12,
we don't have to excuse.
Yeah, 12 in the money, second off of a 60 to 100 day layoff, and 2 for his last 3 actually here with Lady Lauban and Tomicon. So
I'm an unabashed David Duggan fan. I think he's a terrific trainer, and he's getting a chance to show it by getting more opportunities. And I think it's and I think he's a good example that there's this assumption that trainers don't have a chance with the quote super trainers, and it's just not true. You see guys like him, you see guys like Horacio De Paz and other trainers. You get some results out there, people notice, and people want to give you horses, but you've got to get the results. Now, listen, it's a bit of a catch-22 because you've got to have some decent horses to get some results. I don't care if you're Charlie Whittingham or the worst trainer in the grounds. And we've seen, listen, the history of racing is littered with great horses trained by not the best trainers of all time. But if the guys show something, people will notice that they're doing well, and I think Dave is a great example of it. Totally agree with you. This is the horse to beat. I am betting Miss American Pie. I once saw Don McLean perform at the old casino in Congress Park in a Cafe Lena benefit in the 70s.
Wow.
That's how far I go back.
That's cool.
He did not, by the way, write American Pie at the Tin and Lint. I have actually, though, been physically thrown out of the Tin and Lint. I don't know if that's a long time ago. Not sure.
That's your tie-in.
I'm not even sure if I was of legal age at that point.
Okay.
That wasn't
that
the
could be
reason.
possibly why.
I once skipped through a Journey song in the jukebox by kicking it while the drummer at Journey was hanging out at the bar. I did not know he was there because I don't really
Did he get
know.
pissed?
No, they thought it was funny.
Oh,
because,
okay. All right.
He was with Brian Adams, who was the warm-up, and I saw him the next day, and
cool.
he told me that they thought it was funny.
All right.
So, anyway. Going back to the MTV days of the early 80s.
Yeah.
As far as Miss American Pie, I want to take a look at the last race and show you that the start of the race with the stumbled is the number 3 horse. You see the start. Wasn't really that bad, just a little bit slow in there. It really wasn't a stumble, I thought, that did enormous amount of damage. You can go to the head-on, guys. There's plenty of it. We show too much sometimes and too little other times. Seem to stumble sort of behind, nothing that major. It's not why I'm liking this horse. Obviously, she has to get faster to win. We saw that Clement horse improve off a maiden win here the other day. I was looking up some numbers, maiden wins at Naira on the dirt, 7 for 33, 268 ROI. this horse, I mean, Forever to Go, I know the race came with 58, but Forever to Go was coming off like a 74 buyer, I think, was a heavy favorite
Yeah,
for
it was
Mark
in the
Hennig.
70s, yeah.
This was a track that I thought was very favorable to speed. And my God, when this horse, like the light went off in this horse, I thought that she really, really kicked in. I know from a speed figure standpoint, she didn't run that much faster than the time before, but look at how easily she's sort of going by. I feel as though this is a bar that improves them as they come off wins, maiden wins, and I just feel like this horse has tons of upside. And I'm not against Carmen's Candy Jar. I think she's okay. The thing about Carmen's Candy Jar is she has never improved from her win.
No.
She was ready to go first time out, and she's like the exact same horse that she was that day, which, by the way, may be good enough to win here.
Yeah, but we've said that before.
But, well, I haven't. But I think she can win here. I don't need her as the favorite. I like the 70.
Yeah, no, listen, I think I kind of missed the boat because I did write down room for improvement. I probably should have had the horse fourth in here. Carmen's Candy Jar for me, I don't know. It's just the same race after race.
She's going to win because the others
don't show up.
Really,
Yeah.
not just don't do anything exciting.
Yeah.
She's Sassy Shenanigans. You have second. See, I think she's a horse that theoretically could have some real upsides. Take a look at her race because this was a day when in the inside the rail was very good,
Yes.
but this was a race that also completely fell apart.
Right.
So you have to be careful with those against the bias trips because a race fell apart.
Yeah, I mean,
tricky.
For me, I thought she ran well back in June 24 of her debut, had the time off, came back, and took advantage of the pace that was in front of her because when she broke and she was that far back, you thought to yourself, well, she had speed, in that debut
I think
race.
she's
What could
okay,
happen? I
this
think she's
horse.
okay. I
Yeah,
agree with you. And she picked up the pieces on a day where, as you said, the inside was pretty good. So you kind of have to wonder, is it 6 of one, half a dozen of another?
It's a mix. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want to get too caught up in the bias because there were races where they collapse because
Yeah.
everybody goes and they sort of fall in. She was the favorite in there. I probably should have had her third and Carmen's Candy Jar fourth just because I think she has more upside.
I think she's got a little talent in her. So we'll see what we get from her today.
We'll break and we'll be back with the late pick 4.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Paul Verderosa and Andy Serling. Race number 5. We'll take a look at the horse you have on top, and I have second Neuschwanstein. I'm going to disagree with David on this morning line. Isn't this horse going to be an overwhelming favorite here as the controlling speed?
I would think so, and now Blinker's going on. And listen, I know that, last time didn't make that pace.
He is a loser, this horse.
Listen,
he has
I
lost
agree.
some races he should have won, and maybe David's feeling is people are getting sick of him. But my God, is he loose in this
He
race.
has
I
to
put him
be.
second because I thought he'd be 6-7-5 in here.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing outside of him to speak of with speed. Boss 213 is not fast. The horse on the rail is not fast. I watched.
He gets out of the
Louisiana
gate.
racing.
He
He's
has
gone
to be in front of this
with
field.
blinkers on.
I don't know. Could possibly run with him. I guess people think the 1 might go. I guess.
Let me tell you something. I've watched racing from down there. I've seen this horse run. This horse is not fast enough to keep up with the 6.
I don't see it either, and the pace projector doesn't have him close. It's funny because
Yeah.
David really seems to think, and once again, he's usually right, and I'm wrong on these things. I don't know how anybody on earth will be betting Tiz Donegal in here. The record of Delta Downs horses coming up here and being successful for a trainer who hasn't run that many horses here recently, hasn't won races here recently. I don't see how anybody's going to make him a similar price to Neuschwanstein and As You Chase Me.
No, and he could.
I could be wrong. I
Listen,
probably am, but I thought he was just
the fields,
a total throw out.
The
here.
fields that Tiz Donegal ran against when he came back for the claiming races, they are not good horses. They're not horses that are going to wow you, and he couldn't beat them in 2 starts. And now he comes up here and
at short prices.
At a short price, and he's at a short price in each race. And now he's going to take money here as a fresh face because maybe David's case too. Everybody's seen everybody that's run, and they've had enough of horses like Neuschwanstein or As
he's
You
got
Chase
back
Me.
figures, but
Still, I don't know. I have the horse 4th in here, but I am not really thrilled with this horse. And then this horse has moved around a lot too. When you look at this horse, having been at Delta, worked at Penn, now here, in within a month's period of time. So I don't know.
I'm
I don't
not
think
a
this horse
fan.
comes out of good
That horse
races.
wins, I
and,
lose.
Yeah, I agree.
I just didn't. My problem with Neuschwanstein is I've been down this road with
Yeah.
him before, but he has not been as loose as he projects to
No,
be in this race
not
in
at
any
all.
recent races. And he's absolutely. And if he was 3-1, I would pick him on top. I don't see it happening. So I took As You Chase Me, and we'll take a look at his win 2 races back. Picks up Manny Franco. Nothing wrong with Sofia Vivez. I thought she rode well here, but Manny's Manny. Manny is a better rider. And I thought the horse ran fine in here. And then last time out, trying to go 1 1/8 just seems like too much against really a much better field than this. And this is the logical spot. And not one is a 3 lifetime. I like the cut back to 7 furlongs, and I thought this effort is good enough to be the logical alternative to Neuschwanstein. I think Neuschwanstein's a more likely winner. I just didn't think they'd be that comparable in price. If they're 3-1 and 7-2, I'd rather have Neuschwanstein.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
I don't think so either. I have As You Chase Me third here, just on the drop, and Manny Franco. And even last time, wants no part of 1 1/8 that was outside too, and you probably wanted to be more inside that day. I split them with St. James. I just felt like St. James was going in a better direction
Yeah.
and facing better horses too.
But he has no speed.
I know.
He's so
that's
slow.
That's my biggest problem. So if I really was a Neuschwanstein believer today and thought he was going to win, Neuschwanstein, excuse me, and I
Sleeping
figured,
Beauty, right?
yes, and then maybe St. James would just come up and split the exact at a price for me, but. I just thought going in the right direction, just no early speed, and face better fields.
I
too.
would have been all over St. James if I thought there was pace in here, because I agree. I think he's
Yeah.
interesting. But man, he is just,
just-
such
yeah.
a plotter.
He's so far back. already.
Race number 6. I got a question in race number 6.
Yeah.
The horse who's the top fig is this horse, Bronx Bomber.
Yeah.
Who's 4-1 on the line. I think the odds of him winning 2 races in a row are somewhere around 0. But where did this fig come from? I know he had a good trip, but this is not exactly. And he was lucky to win. Jake Rocks did run the best race.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. He still ran a
ran
79
fast.
buyer even if he lost. Where did this come from? But the problem also is there's so much more speed in this race
Right.
today.
Yeah, I put him second simply because me and the entries, sometimes I don't end up taking entries on top or in the spot. But I just thought maybe the big race woke him up, or maybe now it's just going to make him regress off of it. But either way, that was a big number and a big effort we haven't seen in years from this horse. And I know, like you said, Jake Rocks tossed his head. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, this horse still ran.
He still ran a big figure.
Yeah. I mean, I have him second. He's back in for the 10 today, the same spot. It's not like they raised him up or anything. But, I mean, I guess he can run back to this spot, but he's going to probably take money in here. He's not going to be 16-1 anymore. He's probably going to be 4-1.
I don't like this
And there's
horse
more
at all.
speed.
I just don't know where that
Yeah.
race came from. Talk about perfect flight that we both picked.
It's funny. On March 7th, we did the show together, and I think you picked him then, too. Or you picked him second, and I didn't have him anywhere out of that race.
I picked him second.
Yeah, dropping now to the
He got
lowest.
lost in that race.
Yeah, he did. But the thing for me is I just feel like if he's going to win, and he hasn't won since Del Mar in 23, I think today probably on the cutback again to 6 and speed in front of him, if he's ever going to do it, it's today. If he doesn't do it today,
He's dropping down to the bottom level for the first time, and it's a very big drop. And that's one of the reasons I like him. I like horses that make this drop at 10,000. I've said it before. If you're running in the second or third level claiming races here, that's what you're worth, whether it's 12.5. And by the way, the 16B, the condition was about your last win, which he fit into. But when you drop down to the bottom, their horses were 0 in there. They're
Right.
not all
Yeah,
worth
you're not.
10,000. They're worth
Yeah.
0 to 10,000. And the bottom drop has always been one of the bigger drops in racing that people don't really talk about at racetracks. It used to be 14,000, the old first time 14. I think he's interesting as well. I like that Katie's getting back aboard on him, to be honest. I think it's a good idea. Now, I want to talk a little about the Blake B funny joke race, because Blake B did run okay. Kind of shouldn't have lost to Centavo last time, but I do think that Blake B is dangerous off the claim for Rudy in here.
Sure. Back to Rudy, and he
I hate
grinded
entries, but
I do
I don't-
too.
I don't
and
think
I have
the
him
other-
third, but I mean, he grinded away, and he had that pace in front of him too. But he was the grinder out of it because Centavo was the one who actually got the trip up the rail. So I have no problems with him.
I prefer him over Funny Joke.
Yeah, I do too. It was a lot of 1s, 3s, and 8s for me in this spot, but I mean, I just thought the 3 was going to offer the most value out of the horses.
I
we
think
talked about.
Coffrey going down to the bottom for the first time has to be considered. He's obviously a speed type, and he can't make the lead in this race in all likelihood. but I still don't want to ignore him at a bit of a price dropping down to the bottom for the first time. So I would use him as well. Yeah. 3s and 5s prices here. See what happens in race number 6. Race number 7 is really a bit of a mess. But, I mean, the horse that you've picked is the horse to beat, Mighty Atlas. I just didn't want to take the favorite in this race, but he's the horse to beat.
Yeah, listen, I think one of the things about him was considering that he was on the lead to start before that, and then he got pinched back early and then got kind of steadied out of it. He came with that run, and he wasn't going to get to Quick to Access, who just kind of blew up and ran a 97 buyer in there. Is better than him anyway. So, and it was one of his much better efforts too. After a couple of dull efforts too, he maybe turned
2
the
bad
corner
races
now.
off the claim, and you kind of get worried. But he did run fine last time. I have no problem with him. I just don't want to take him as the favorite. And what I thought was a very, very tough race. I think that Whittingham Park's a little bit interesting, but it's not like they're betting a lot in the King Cheek, who's the speed and helps set up for him. I didn't want to. I originally thought about picking him, but I thought I don't really need him at a shortest price in here because there seems to be a real chance with him that he's just sort of a finished product.
I know, and I was wondering in the beginning, maybe it was just the stakes racing that doesn't agree with him. He takes himself out of races
run okay
early.
in those races before.
Yeah, and then now he's offered up for the tag, and he just took himself out of races lately. Maybe it's just not a good situation anymore, and he's just kind of soured.
He just doesn't look like a horse that's worth betting at 7-2 to me. That's all. I'm not shocked if he wins. I didn't particularly like the other half. I thought that BD Saints and Neural Network were the interesting horses along with the 7. I almost went 4-8-7. I don't have a huge preference here. This is the race, 2 races back for Neural Network, and for BD Saints, 3 back the last time he was here. This was a very slow pace, and I thought that actually Neural Network ran pretty well when you consider the kind of pace he was trying to overcome. I know he was horrendous last time, but he was also way out in the middle of the racetrack.
Yeah.
I just thought he got one of those sort of no-chance trips near Neural Network. I'm not sure. He could be a horse that's on a complete decline and he can't run anymore, but he is going to be a big price, and he does have races that fit there. And I think that BD Saints might be a horse that's better going the 1 turn than going in all these 2-turn races, because he is a horse that can be a little bit tough to handle in these races. You look at the last time he ran a 1-turn mile here. He got, he lost by 4 lengths, but he ran an 86 buyer, which makes him a big player here. And chasing the pace wide last time at Oaklawn, where the speeds did run, I think, 2-1.
Yes.
It's just not really the kind of trip that's best for him. So I think he's very dangerous. So I kind of want to use the 2 out of that race, Neural Network and BD Saints, along with the favorite.
Yeah, and BD Saints getting back into State Bred Company will help, because really, even those 2 races at Oaklawn, he had problems against Open Company, even the start before that.
Why did he ship him there?
I don't know.
Do you know he's a New York bred, Mike?
Yeah, and you sent him there for. I mean, I'm sure we had to have races here that ran.
Don't understand.
I don't get it.
I know the purses are good, but they're good.
It's relative. Well,
Oaklawn has a little bit of the combination of the Kentucky Downs claw, the claw, where you think it looks great, and you put the claw in, you never grab anything. Yeah, the purses are sensational. There's no doubt about it. On the other hand, they're 10 and 12 race wars every time.
Yeah.
And there ain't no money being given away down at Oaklawn
No, you're
Park.
fighting for every inch.
It is a super, super tough competitive. The racing's interesting. I don't mean this, but I'm saying from a competitive standpoint, I'd rather run for less money in
and
much more reasonable spots.
Yeah, I agree.
Every race down there is a war.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few races down there, because we look at them a lot, where there aren't 6, 7 contenders. And
beyond that, then you run the risk, too, like this horse did, of ending up being wide and behind certain trips.
Because here you can run 1-turn miles, too, down there.
Yeah,
and it's either 6 furlongs or 2 turns.
Yeah, there's no in between.
And there's a lot of different things. So anyway, interesting race, race number 7. The 8th race is the drop-down race. Now, we couldn't get the replay for B52, but you have B52 going to Dave Duggan's barn, is not a private purchase, same trainer.
No.
And you have Freesdale, and we'll take a look at Freesdale's maiden win. You've got them 1-2. I am simply not going to pick these horses on top. They are both completely untrustworthy to me. Why is this horse going to wake up today?
I get it. Believe me, I get it. But the more I looked around at everybody, and I should have put your horse higher, but the more I get around to it.
Why? Because I picked him?
No, just because I feel like, I'll say that, with speed.
He kind of sucks, my horse. I'm not his biggest fan
But listen,
either.
if Freesdale runs back to the maiden race, I mean...
If he runs back to the maiden race, I'm going to do a flying 360 dunk. If he runs back to the maiden race, then Linda Rice is a moron. And since we know Linda Rice isn't a moron, he's not running back to the maiden race.
But if he's remotely close to the maiden race, he's going to be competitive here.
How about if he runs his last race on the turf?
But that race, listen, I don't know. He was...
You don't think the drop is... pretty significant.
It is, but I mean, well, maybe Linda could have ran him for a little bit
Okay,
more. And I think it was the clip, but-
180 to 360 days dirt sprints. So just straight dirt sprints, right? 7 for 60, 12%, $1.18 ROI. First time for a tag off that drop with non-maidens. She's 0 for 3. 6th at 5 to 2, 7th at 7 to 2, 3rd at 3 to 1. She is 3 for 5, however. She's done better with maidens. She's had 3 for 5 or 5 maidens have won, but the non-maidens haven't won. Don't you just feel like, obviously you can win?
Yeah, no.
Come on.
I mean, it's a big, but listen, I wonder if this horse is going to.
Tell us for non-winners of one New York breds. Linda doesn't even want to try him in one of those races. I don't think he's running a 77 buyer. How about you?
Well, we'll find out.
Well, come on.
69 might win it.
You're talking
68.
but Linda knows that.
No,
You're
I
talking
understand
about
that. Listen,
as,
I get
as
it, but-
sharp a trainer as there is in the game, as connected as
No,
as
it's
thoughtful.
100%.
And she's thinking, I'm going to run him for 16 and get claimed when I could. What's the purse of this race? 29,000. What's the
29,000.
non-winners of one? About 75.
Roughly.
Right. Second is the same as winning this race in a non-winners of one, and you keep him. And she's just dumping him.
Listen, can win. Maybe got to make room for the spring. But
She ain't making room with this
I'm just
horse.
thinking of you.
She's
No,
not making room.
Linda will say something if I
This
see
is
her
a
later.
horse that's a better horse. I'm not. He might win.
No, he might.
I'm
Listen,
just-
he might win from an outside
Man,
short. But
he
if he
has
run,
a
if he
bad
can,
odor.
But not for anything. It's not like he. I know the results were bad in the next two starts, the stakes races, but at least he was forward. It's not like he gave up all of
Yeah,
his
now
speed.
she's just dumping him.
Oh, maybe he's going to have speed again today, and that might just be good enough against this group. I mean,
Well, he's not the speed.
no, I didn't say it
The
was the speed,
speed's
but I
a
said
King
maybe he'll have
Floyd
speed enough
9.
to sit a trip off of them like he did in his debut, and it might be good enough. Do you try?
I think he is a horrendous bet today. And if I was going to bet one of the drop downs, I would bet B52 in here for Dave Duggan.
I don't know. But, listen,
That horse, every race the horse runs is good. Maybe he's a worse drop down. Because at least in his case, every race he runs is good.
I don't know. They scratched him too once here before running him here, I think, as well. And
No,
the
I'm not.
layoff.
I don't trust him, or I would have.
I don't
picked him
trust
on top.
anybody here, to be honest
Well,
with you. But
at
it's
least
just,
with Iron Man Ira, who I've never really loved, but he was chasing outside against a good rail in his last start. He picks up Manny Franco. He cuts back in distance, and at least he has some recency. And his recency isn't that good, but he won't be that short. So, I mean, the problem is with the 5 Wadges scratching out, he's the only alternative to the favorites, really. At least to
yeah.
me.
I mean, really, because it's enough of conniving and.
Maybe Soulless
Although Soulless
Fury.
Fury,
He's not impossible.
He's not impossible. I think maybe he needed the start. I mean, Soulless Fury's a weird horse too because he doesn't like being inside of horses. I don't think, and he doesn't like being behind them sometimes. So you got to get him like
won't be
clear.
here.
But we'll see if he can be outside. But maybe second off of the layoff, he could run a little bit better.
All right. See what happens. You have no love for Iron Man Ira.
I
You may be right. Listen, he's no superstar. I'm not proud of him.
I just maybe I don't know if he want. Well,
I cannot pick the drop down.
No, I understand. Listen, this race was-
this is an
this is a
ugly
tough-
drop
yeah,
down for the
this is
two. They
both
may
of them.
run 1-2, but the Freesdale one really bothered
I mean,
me.
the only thing I could say in Freesdale's case is if he's any good, maybe he'll be more forward than the two.
If he's any good, he wouldn't be in here.
That's possible.
Sorry.
Well, good for this field. Good for this. We're talking 16,000 here.
You and I have a very big disagreement
Yeah,
in
in
this
this
race.
race.
It doesn't
It's
make me
fun.
right and you wrong.
No,
We
it's
just
just
have a
fun.
disagreement. It's
Yeah.
horse racing. All right, Paul, thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for watching. Head on over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match for $200 of your initial deposit. You've got the 3 out of 4. You got to opt in over at Naira Bets. In fact, I'm going to do that right now.
It's so simple.
If you have exactly 3 winners, now you're better off hitting it. But
Yes.
if you bet 10 or more, you will get $10 back. We've got a cross-country Big 5. It is early today. Take note of that, as the show today is from 1:30 to 3:30 and then 5:30 to 6:30. All right. Thanks again, Paul. Thank you. Thanks, James. Chris Griffin's up next. The reprise, scratch and changes. I'm not thanking Eddie. He gets nothing.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Aqueduct. At this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of the national anthem. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the New York Racing Association and live racing at Aqueduct. Set to kick off a Friday afternoon and the week at Aqueduct, and the track is rated fast. 8 races on today's program. Coming up, today's scratches and changes. Race 1 started the early pick 5. The 1 is 1 pound over. The 2 is a Ridgeling. Scratch the 6, Stormin' Sammy. Race 2 started the early pick 4. Scratch the 3, Baroness Bourbon. Race 3 started the pick 6. It's clear. No changes in today's third. Race 4 started the late pick 5. No changes. Today's 5th race started the late pick 4. The 5 will run in 2 open-toe bar shoes again. Scratch the 8 is Steady Progress.